Hello everyone, welcome to, I don't know, just a little chin wag essentially. It's been a long week.
We're previewing the weekend's football.
We are previewing the weekend's football.
Back!
A lot of you saying, is this one for the weekend? We can't say that right now, we don't know, okay? But what we did want to do is sit down, have a chat. The transfer window has happened. We did a live stream yesterday, that was fantastic, and we went into detail of that. But now the season starts afresh.
There are some massive games this weekend, Jim.
There are some massive games. We're going to be talking about Arsenal versus Man City, Wolves, Everton, what else we got? Tottenham versus Newcastle, and Liverpool versus West Ham, because
can I just stop you?
all of them are enticing.
Are you excited? Do you even care?
Do you know what I've got? The problem I've got is QPR really Sheffield United tomorrow, first home game. Dreading it.
Yeah, you should be.
Yeah.
I mean, what's it like going into a season? So a lot of fans, I don't know this, right? Because I don't know what, I've never been relegated. Don't know what it's like. But
all promoted?
I've never been promoted either, but I have won trophies. But what's it like going into a season generally as a fan of a football club? What's it like going in knowing you're probably going to get relegated? It's going to be a long, hard season. What's that like? How do you mentally prepare, Jim?
Do you know what? You take it game by game. You try and be optimistic. You find it harder the older you get.
Yeah,
definitely.
Because you've been through the pain.
Because you can see the signs.
Have you ever been down to League One though?
Yes.
Okay.
Division 2 as it was then.
Right.
But sometimes you go, that might be fun because you get to win more games, and that's what it's really all about.
So in a way, it's a worst case scenario for a team threatened by relegation from day one. Is it just surviving?
How has this happened?
Is it just surviving? Is that almost worse than being relegated?
No, because you're not going 2 steps back. You're going half a step back.
Some might think
you're standing still essentially.
Some might think that actually getting relegated, you get all the deadwood out, all the terrible players, get rid of them.
That winds me up. That's bollocks.
What?
No one goes. Yeah, I think it was best that we went down. It just doesn't. I think that's nonsense. If you bring in the right person, the right players, Adam on the 1s and 2s today, Brentford fan, you've been up and down there.
Yeah.
You feel a bit different about this, don't you? You feel like going down is okay if you come back to rebuild.
I think it can be a positive thing, definitely.
It can be a positive thing, but people who say right off the bat, delighted we've gone down, like it's nonsense. Or people going, maybe we should go down to go back up. Again, silly.
Throughout the season, we're going to be checking on Jim. We're going to make sure that he's okay and just check in on him, because he has this kind of positive exterior, like happy-go-lucky kind of guy, and he's a lovely man. You know, I love Jim so much, I really do.
Cheers, man.
But under the surface, the football's getting to him. It's only game 1, and he's already been a bit nasty this week, a little lashing out, and that. I think that's
really?
about Steve McLaren. Should we talk about Man City and Arsenal?
Yeah, that'd be good.
It must be hard though, isn't it? You look at Man City, all the money they've spent over the time. You know, Arsenal rebuilding, the champions.
You're going to give them some respect in this video?
Who?
Season predictor.
Manchester City?
Well, you gave Man City a bit of respect in terms of, you said they go unbeaten.
I think they will, yeah, probably.
But you also sort of said how they've kind of
financially doped, yes, they are, yeah. That goes without saying, everything.
Yeah, I think
no one disagrees with that, do they?
But this is the biggest game, Arsenal versus Man City. Yeah. Huge for so many reasons. First of all, well, you're going to find out throughout this whole weekend, a lot of teams are going to set the tone for the rest of the season. Yeah. Teams that can start off well can then have the season that they want to have. A lot of people go, oh, you can't look at the table till 10 games, and there is truth in that, but it is the first real test of the season, and for Arsenal,
it's come very early.
They could have done with something else.
I know, absolutely, because obviously there's this narrative, the background narrative, that how everyone's waiting for Arsenal Fan TV. That's what they're waiting for, and they're waiting to see the expected meltdown when they lose a game. The fact is, if they lose to Man City, it's they're in transition. They've got new players to bed in, new manager to get his ideas onto the pitch. It's going to take time. Usually, it isn't as immediate as it was for Conte and Chelsea. And win the league in his first season. That's an incredible feat. But for them, they can afford to lose this game against Man City. If you can see the structure, you can understand what's trying to be achieved by the manager, and seeing the players in the correct positions, and that they just get undone by their moments of class. I think if I was an Arsenal fan, and thank the fucking Lord I'm not, but if I was, I would look at this game very philosophically and not be too hard on the team should they lose. When they get rubbed 6-0, that's a different.
Yeah, well, there's 2 ways that you can look at this, and ultimately it will be looked at one of 2 ways depending on the result at the end of it. But you can look at it and go, why are we playing champions first up? Like, that's a nightmare, especially I think at home as well. When I look at the fixture list, the first game I want it away from home against quite a tough team.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't think there's the same. You've then got your home game. You can kind of wash that away and go, right, it's about your home games. That's a tough game. It's the first game of the season, and you won't have to play those teams again. My mate's a Stoke fan. He was saying Leeds United away was a cracking one to start with because you're not going to have to play Leeds again away from home. You're right.
Boxes are a bit tight.
Are they?
Yeah.
Are they denim as well?
I bought them one size too small.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't realise they moved up in size. No, they're just
Does it though?
Yeah.
No one knows about that, do they?
What? What's he talking about?
It's big, innit?
I'm a dick.
Frightening. Man City, will they have the same hunger? That's the other side of it. Arsenal could be going, if they get a draw, or if they can get a win from home, they go at home, they can go, we've beat the best team in the league.
They would be flying if they
will be flying.
And it'd be an incredible start for Arsenal. And if they do it, and you know, it's not beyond the realms of, you know, Man City did get beat last year. They can be beaten. Arsenal can get at them. They do have the quality in Aubameyang, Lacazette, Ozil, Mkhitaryan. That is a front line to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Just defensively, it's a little bit shoddy.
The
But if they can, it'll be a huge boost for Emery and the Arsenal fans.
But I want to be wrong about Arsenal. I actually do, because I think it's always a good thing when you look at the table at the start of the season. 9 times out of 10, you're wrong. But at the same time, you look at all of these predicted tables that different people are doing. Generally, it's the same.
Yeah.
So, but it never is.
No, there's always
if
one.
Arsenal do it this time, then great. It shows that you can pick off different players from different places, or you can reorganise or re-energise a team and get better results.
Yeah.
So I would love to see Arsenal beat Man City this weekend, as I'm sure you would as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Man City, are they going to run away with it?
I think they will. I absolutely do. I think winning. History has shown that two wins on a bounce in 2 seasons. What we're talking about, 2 Premier League wins on a bounce is possible. And with the amount of quality that Man City have, and Pep Guardiola as well, you think it's achievable. It's like that 3rd title is generally beyond people. And it's because you've talked about this before, haven't you? About there's one thing winning a title, but retaining it requires a different type of mental aptitude, a different type of mental strength to get up for every game.
Totally, because you've got something to lose then. The shift, what needs to happen, and I was listening to Vincent Kompany talking the other day, and he was talking about the thing that makes it so intense at Man City, he's saying, is the competition in terms of the players that they've got there. Because if you're not up to it, then you're not going to start. And so that's a good thing if you're a Man City fan. You'd be excited that he's saying that. I just think that this 100-point mark that they've hit, I think I would be very surprised if they. I'll be very surprised if they get 90 or above.
No, but they don't need to in order to win the league, do they? 90 points will get them there.
But there is. So that it's about framing it psychologically, I think. Whereas before, there's this need to achieve something, this need to get up there. There's something that you're desperate to do for the first time, or first time as a squad, first time under Guardiola. But once you've got it, then you've got, as I say, you've got something to lose, and it's like, and there's a totally different spin on it. And ultimately, there isn't the same need. Because you've done it. But
if you're talking in percentages, you're not going to drop off 20%. You're talking 5-10%.
Maybe, but that's where.
And even if they do, they've still won that league.
But the story as well is can they lose? Will they lose momentum with that 10%? Because of that 10%, if you then lose to Arsenal in the first game of the season, you draw the second game. There's a whole new spin on it. There's a whole new framework that you're playing in with.
And there's new challenges that these players are not used to.
Exactly.
So then I see the value in that.
And I also think that you see it time and again through football history. That team that nearly gets there comes back the season after and goes, no, not this time. Yeah. They won't have it. There's a new sort of steel.
And it's not like they have refreshed that significantly. They've spent 60 million.
Look, no doubt.
Mahrez, basically.
They've got the most talented squad.
Yeah.
Of course they have. And the most depth as well. If you think, you've got Sane, Sterling, Mahrez, Silva, if you wanted to, you could play them all on the left-hand side.
Yeah,
That's just one position.
Sure.
Insane.
Up front, they're loaded. Defense.
So they have got the players there, but there are so many different aspects that play into it. I think they're going to be a lot more focused on the Champions League this season, but I also think they will obliterate a lot of teams. It's in those big games. Can the other teams step up a bit? And I do think Liverpool are going to have I honestly think Liverpool are going to have a cracking season, and I think they'll be right up there. I think they'll get enough points to have won a title. Will it be enough to win this title? That's a different question, in my opinion.
Fair enough. What do you think? Just finally on Arsenal. If they happen to lose this game, which you can, like I said, you can be philosophical about it. You're playing one of the best teams in Europe, but then they've got Chelsea at Stamford Bridge the week after.
Yeah.
If they lose that, can you predict what might happen then?
Do you know what? If I was an Arsenal fan and kind of talking to other Arsenal fans, the thing that I would try and preach is, and some Arsenal fans do it, but a lot of all fans, let's be fair, are a bit triggered. And often the problem with modern football is your reference to other football fans isn't in the stands, it's on Twitter.
Yeah.
And often that's where these little arguments happen, because essentially it's like road rage. You're hidden behind a shield or an avatar, so you can say whatever you want and it's fine. I think Arsenal fans should be excited about a fresh structure of the club, should be excited about a manager who you know is diligent, tactically astute, incredibly hard-working, detailed.
I think they are.
But also just understand the context of what you're stepping into. Man City, then Chelsea. It's two very difficult games. So if you come away with no points after those two, that's not the end of the season.
No.
And I think
because most people
the problem
will lose
has
those games,
been,
don't they?
and I'm really intrigued to see how it does play out in terms of Arsenal fan TV, in terms of Arsenal Twitter, in terms of all of that. And do you know the problem as well? Pundits as well, in terms of them going big and going angry, which they have done for seasons. It's been about Wenger needing to go. That's gone away now. I hope there's a lot more patience towards Arsenal this season, because it is going to take time, and they've got players who aren't superstars. They're players with potential. As well as, as you say, I think Aubameyang will have a great season as well. So I'm intrigued about this season and this season for Arsenal, and I think it's going to take time. And I think if they can be in the hunt for fifth come March, I think they should be pleased with that. I honestly do.
There you go, Arsenal. As long as you're in the hunt for fifth. Remember, it used to be a big club.
Let's move on.
Sorry, unless I had to get one little dip.
Yeah.
They've been sending me death threats, I told you.
I heard that.
Yeah, it's good. Flav_Bateman, my DMs are open. Please send more.
Wolves versus Everton, a game which would have been a bit meh.
Would have been.
Isn't.
Now it's flying, isn't it? It's flying. It's two exciting, massive football clubs now. Wolves are traditionally a very big club. They've got the correct investment, the correct manager, clearly, I'd never heard of him, to be fair, before he joined over at Wolves. And he turned them into a pretty meh Championship team, into steamrolling the Championship last year, playing very exciting and attacking football.
Wow. And, 2 videos on the trot, that.
Very exciting and attacking football.
Nothing, not even going to reflect on it.
Sorry, it's my brother. Shall I bring him back? Or will we carry on? I apologise for the unprofessionalism.
Carry on.
Adam, I apologise. Everyone out there, I apologise. Steamrolled the Championship, didn't he? And he's got them playing sexy attacking football. And I like the fact that Fulham are coming up, Wolves are coming up, and they're going to do okay in the Premier League, and they're going to stay playing football the right way. And thank the Lord that Cardiff are going to get pumped every week, because, it's Neil Warnock's kind of, isn't it?
Are Fulham not financial doping?
At this stage, they're £100 million.
Does it not count if Fulham do it?
No, but it's not. It is. What are you asking me? What
I'm saying, they've spent over 100 million in the transfer window.
Right, that's fine. As long as the money's coming in, they've just got 100. They'll get back from the Premier League 120 million just by being in it.
Right,
that's what it's like when you're with the big boys. All right, just because it's happened to QPR.
Get your fucking hand off my knee.
Just because it happened to QPR. All right, Jim.
Everton, though, also spent big, as it says here in the rundown. Both have spent big money.
Big money!
What do you think about Everton?
Everton are just like, I feel sorry for Everton. And do you know what? There's two things. I feel sorry for Everton.
Why?
Well, one, because deep down, you speak to any Evertonian, the first thing that's most important to them is being better and finishing above Liverpool. And the same way for Spurs it was just getting above Arsenal. And it might be seen as small time, but it isn't small time. It's the kind of the most important thing. The one of the most important things in football is rivalry, and the most important thing is is beating your rivals. And then winning the league and doing all the other things. But the first step to success, or getting some sort of sustainable success, is getting one over on your rivals. And when we finished off Arsenal, we got that millstone off our back, which is just bigger and better than they are now. It's a fact. And then we can try and kick on and do other things, right?
Everton are straight for the rest of the world.
Everton are in that situation now, but the problem is Liverpool is so much stronger, and almost the gap between Everton and Liverpool is greater than it ever has been because of what Klopp's done with them and the players that he's brought in and the money they've spent. Everton fans must be thinking, gee, what do we have to do? We've finally got a great manager, as I'm sure this season will pan out to be, show him to be. We've spent seemingly correctly this summer, whereas it was a bit gung-ho and ad hoc last season. So they're moving in the right direction, but it must be tough. It must be tough because
I
they're not
kind of get your point.
On Liverpool's level yet.
I kind of get your point, but I guess you've got to start somewhere, and those steps you hope are going to happen this season. A lot of these players that were bought yesterday, they're not going to be involved for 1 week, 2 weeks. Who knows?
Mina,
Bernard,
Boomer,
Azuma, Boomer. I say boom, boom, boom.
What's his name?
Zuma.
Kurt Zuma. Sorry,
yeah.
Boomer.
And Andre Gomez. I mean, they might be fit to go. You don't know. Zuma should be.
Yeah, Zuma should be okay.
Bernard should be really, because he's been a free agent.
Mina's been at the World Cup. Probably hasn't trained that hard, given the fact that he knows he's nowhere near the Barcelona team. Andre Gomez is an interesting one as well. But Everton really remind me of, and this isn't meaning to sound patronising, of what Tottenham were like just before Pochettino took over.
Well, then that's great. That's exactly what Ped was saying to us. Is that he sees Spurs and he goes, well, yeah, we want a bit of that,
and they can
do that.
They're with the right manager in place, and it's all down to Pochettino. It's not. I mean, some part of it is about Tottenham, and you can attract certain players because there's a history there. Everton are the same, and now I think they've got the right manager in. I've talked loads on this channel about how much I rate Marco Silva and what he's done. I think they've got the right man. It's just a shame Liverpool are a little bit beyond them, but it won't always be that way.
I think, but I think if you're concentrating on that, you're never going to get where you want to be. And I don't think Everton fans are smart enough to go, we get that, but let's just get ourselves in the mix for all of those.
They have to be that way now. The minute there is any kind of parity, it becomes all consuming. I can't tell you.
Everton fans will be looking forward to that. They want that.
Oh yeah, of course. And that moment when it happens, because nothing stays the same, Everton will one day finish above Liverpool, and all the stick that Liverpool fans have given them, no doubt they have, in the same way that Arsenal got it, you'll be able to give it back in tenfolds, and it means so much more because there's nothing they can say. It's such a great feeling.
Something to look forward to. It'll be interesting. They've got a really good run of games to kick off with. I don't think they've got to play anyone in the top 7 in their first 6 weeks, 7 weeks.
So they could be.
So they've got a massive chance to kind of really.
Well, they should be in the top 4. They should be in the top 4 in that.
But then they've got to play everyone hard after that. But it's about momentum, isn't it?
Momentum and just a positive feeling, and that's what you see with Liverpool. Is that
speaking of positive feeling, Newcastle versus Spurs.
This has got to be the most. This will, as you walk up to St James's Park, just a cesspit. Yeah, dark cloud.
It's Sports Direct on the top.
Sports Direct just beaming through. Newcastle are not happy, are they? About their fans are not happy with Ashley. Still hasn't been sold, although it's supposed to have been done 7 months ago. That talk has kind of gone quiet. Ashley hasn't strengthened in any real form. They brought in Rondon on loan from West Brom. Nothing to inspire you at all. Players haven't been paid their bonuses. £11 million due to be shared amongst the players because they survived relegation and done way and beyond. And all they've got really is a couple of decent players you can kind of hang your hat on, and Rafa Benitez. So the mood isn't great there. The mood isn't great at Tottenham, although I think
there's an easier recovery for you guys. One good win, you go, oh yeah, we've got Harry Kane. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Newcastle, it's going to be a real slog. And I think the problem that they've got is when you go up, and I've said this a lot, but when you go up, there is that new excitement of being in the Premier League, and so that adrenaline will keep you going. Certainly up until I think you saw it with Huddersfield. Huddersfield were just buzzing to be there and play everyone for the first time. And that's not patronising. That's great, and
Yeah,
you've got to
you
use
harness
that
that,
energy.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly. But from February onwards, Huddersfield really struggled because it turned into that big slog. It's when that moment comes, if you can come back through it. Newcastle had that wobble and then were able to come through in the second half of the season because of some really good signings in January.
Yeah.
Some of those players come back. Kennedy's come back. I mean, that's a big one for them.
Excellent.
But again, I think there's a different outlook to it where he's come in and he's going to have the full slog of a season instead of coming in January and you're the man and right, I've been there, no one gives a shit, and I'll come here and everyone cares about me, and you do play better. At QPR, when we went down, but Andros Townsend came on loan. He was amazing.
Yeah, I remember.
Because of that reason, he wanted to. He is a player who's ready to be that guy. Yeah. But just wasn't getting the opportunity. Can Kennedy do it for a whole season? I don't think you want to just trust it on him. Rondon, I think, will fit in quite well for Benitez's style because the forwards that they've had playing there have just been shit.
Yeah.
Not to the level, and he will put himself about. He'll be physical and he'll be able to hold up the ball better than say Joselu, who's been there previous. Yeah. But it's going to be a long season for them, and I think they'll struggle this weekend against you guys.
I think they're going to.
You'll have a lot missing though, won't you?
Well, Pochettino's come out this week and said that he's been surprised at the fitness of the players that have come back. Harry Kane apparently looks as good as he has been in terms of his fitness levels. He says one or two will need to be nursed and probably have an opportunity to start on the bench, but it looks like we'll be able to put out a pretty strong side. So we'll see. It's one of those things. I think if you look at it, there was a lot of kind of ill feeling around from Spurs fans, certainly on Twitter, very angry at Levy, angry at the club for not strengthening, angry for the lack of information that's coming out from the club. But if you look at our first 11, you can't. You've got. Yeah, exactly. So.
And the final one I want to talk about before the Premier League kicks off: Liverpool versus West Ham. Exciting summer for West Ham, and I think a couple of seasons ago, one of their first away games was. I think they had a few really tough away games, and it was a season with Payet where they did really well, and they went and beat Liverpool away. Yeah. And I think with the feeling at West Ham, which I mean, it's amazing, isn't it? Burnley 3-0 at home, losing. Was that February, I think? Yeah. People running onto the pitch, like going crazy. We did a feature on it, and you could see how upset they all were about it. And now it's a fresh start again.
I think you need to think about how close it all is to bubbling over once again. Like, what did they want? They wanted the board to back their manager. They wanted to get players in. They wanted to speculate somewhat, and that's what the board have exactly done. All of the accusations sent to them, not about moving stadium, because that's one thing that can never be forgiven, in my opinion. But in terms of the lack of investment, that was one of the major things, and they've turned it on its head. For all their critics, they've spent, and looks to be on the surface spent well. Yarmolenko. Arnautovic hasn't been sold. Yeah. They brought in a third striker in Perez who can also play wide.
Felipe Anderson's a massive signing for them.
35 million from Lazio that's substantial outlays and faith in Pellegrino. So it's Pellegrini. So then Jack Wilshere, who's going to be on big wages, but these are all good footballers. If he can get it to click, then they're in for a good season, and I think they're going to finish eighth. I had them.
So do you think? I think West Ham fans will have a lot more patience this year.
They should,
because of all of those moves. The bubbling over, I don't see that happening this season because.
What could they throw at them?
Well, yeah, that's exactly my point. So I think, and that's going to be a thing for West Ham fans to do as well. And I guess it's a bit of a theme, isn't it, for all football fans, for whoever their team is, that they have to show a bit of patience because they've got a horrible run of games as well to start off with. I think they've got to play a lot of the top six. Yeah. But they'll be able to have ambitions to finish top 7 as well.
The Premier League is very strong this year. It feels like, whereas last year there was a massive disparity between the quality of the top 6 and almost the rest of the league. The difference in quality was gargantuan. But this year it feels like a lot of money's been spent by all clubs. The clubs coming up are better than they were last year. The 3 teams that came up, last year, they started well.
Who were they?
Brighton, Huddersfield and Newcastle. Great. When they come up last season, they started well. I think after 10 games they had the record most amassed points from 3 teams that have ever come up. And then it kind of petered off and they didn't perform well and they were getting pumped left, right and centre, but managed to stay up. This season with Fulham spending over 100 million, you got Wolves spent well but also had a really good squad, but more importantly a cohesive unit that's working together. Only Cardiff are going to be the whipping boys, I think, in that instance. So my point is that there won't be a runaway top 6 or top 7 in the way that we've seen in previous.
I don't. The gap's closing.
I think the gap's closing. I think there'll be more people taking points off each other, and it'll give opportunities other than Liverpool and Man City.
Right,
it'll
so
give opportunity to other teams.
With all that said, let's go through these games at least and give our predictions. Let us know your predictions in the comments below. That's how it works. Arsenal versus Man City. It's the Sunday game, but we'll go with that one first.
I'm going to go Man City. I'm going to go 2-1 Man City.
I think Arsenal. I'm going to go for a little shock there. Arsenal to get a draw.
Okay.
1-1. Wolves versus Everton. Wolves at home.
Wolves at home. I think Wolves will win 2-1.
I think
But
you might be right there. I think
Everton
2-1
on for a
as
great
well.
season, but that's going to be a cauldron for Wolves. First time back in the Premier League for a while.
Yeah, they'll be buzzing. And one of the promoted teams definitely wins at the first game of the season.
Yeah.
Who else we got? Liverpool versus West Ham.
I think Liverpool roll West Ham over in this instance, but I think West Ham in for a good season. I'd say Liverpool 3-1.
Yeah, I'm going to go 3-0. Tough start because I think the new centre backs for West Ham. I think that's a bit of a baptism of fire. And Newcastle versus Tottenham.
I'm going to go 1-0 Spurs.
But we're in 1-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you'd be fine. 2-0. 2-0 to Spurs.
Guess in.
Right. Those are our thoughts on the opening weekend of the Premier League season. Let us know yours in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, click like, subscribe to Ball Street, continue to send your angry DMs to Flav. What's your Twitter again?
I'll read them out next week. The angriest, best, most inventive DMs you can send me at the end of next week's show. I'll read them out. Can we put them on screen or something like that?
Yeah, should we? Well, right. Maybe we'll have to blur the whole thing out.
Flav _ Bateman. Any special bonus points if you're an Arsenal fan.